Okay, so what is it like to receive a reading and a healing from the canine spirit guides? I'm going to share with you one of my recent sessions with not a client, but with somebody who interviewed me. I was on a podcast and they asked me to do a reading and a session with one of the hosts. So before we got on the podcast, I did a reading on this young lady. And initially, when I tapped into her energy, I just see her floating in outer space. And I'm trying to figure out what in the heck is going on here. Finally, they download the rest of the message, and it was that she was a man in the secret space program, and she was in outer space with her crew, and she went outside of the ship to perform some repairs in her spacesuit. Something happened, and I got the impression she lost consciousness, had an accident, and she lost contact with the ship and floated away. And she ended up dying alone in outer space. And she came to knowing that she was all alone, knowing that she was going to die out there. And she was just filled with so much sorrow and regret. And she was a man in this lifetime, so he was really upset that he was leaving his crew and he was leaving his family and he would never get to say goodbye, and he felt really, really guilty, and he felt so painful for them because they would never know what happened to him. And so as I downloaded all this energy, I was also told it wasn't just a past lifetime, it was a concurrent lifetime. This was a lifetime that was on what they consider to be a lower timeline than today's timeline. So it had been happening concurrently with this lifetime. And so this was not something that this soul had done before it came into this body, but it was processing it simultaneously with this life. So this was my first experience with a concurrent lifetime download. So I wasn't really sure what I was getting or how to proceed, and I kind of didn't want to deliver the message. I wanted to back out and say, this is way over my skill level, but the guides pushed me and pushed me and pushed me, because I tried to go back in and say, okay, give me something different. Give me something easier that I can share with her, that I'm familiar with, that won't be so strange. And they just kind of laughed at me, and they said, you have to deliver this message. It's very, very important. So I said, okay, I know better than to disobey. So when we got into the interview, I didn't tell the host anything about what I had downloaded. And I just asked her, have you been feeling sad or lonely or depressed and you don't really know why? And she said, yes, as a matter of fact, it's been a really tough week. I felt a lot of sorrow and I really wasn't sure why. There was no reason for it. Then I told her what I had downloaded about her concurrent life, and she was shocked. It had totally resonated with her, with all that emotion that had come up and she wasn't even completely aware of. And so then we proceeded to a healing session. I believe it was with Anthea that volunteered her service, and I did a live healing session on the podcast, and the person I was reading for was able to experience a lightness of that grief that had just been hovering over her. She was able to transmute that energy very, very quickly into peace and understanding and love, and completely transform all of that pain into love and light. And her soul had chosen to do it this way because she knew she would have access to the technology to do it, and that also she could save herself some time by doing these two lifetimes concurrently. So she chose to do it that way. And it's a very unusual way to do it, but I think we're going to see a lot more souls do it this way because we're trying to speed things up and we're trying to get through more and more debris. Our souls are attempting to and are intending to elevate and escalate much faster. So I'm anticipating I'm going to see more readings like this. But I just wanted to share that with you because it was really unusual. But every time I work with these canine spirit guides, they show me something I've never knew about humanity, about spirituality, about instant healing. They're always constantly teaching me. So I'm going to be sharing more of these stories with you. Okay, that's all for now. Love ya.